If you joined late, we just downloaded the wrong footage. We went Thursday instead of Monday, so we're gonna get Monday pulled down.
Real professional. All right, here we go. Boom. Another huge class in the books.
Dude, I actually briefly went over this earlier today, and I was like, oh my god, there's just so much happening right now on the mats.
Yeah, during drilling, I think it was on, I think it was Monday. Zach and I knocked heads together on like during the takedown or something. Or maybe that was Thursday. I don't know. Either way, it was Danny's fault.
Always is.
Yeah. So we've got, let's see, I think Ted. Is that Jordan? I think that's
I
Jordan.
think that is Jordan.
Got Cole.
Cole and Pat.
Cole working a back take. Successfully so.
Caleb and Austin.
That's Charlie. That's father and son.
No, at the top.
Oh.
The door.
Yeah, we have other Austin here popping at the bottom of the screen.
Yep. Then we've got Dan and Joe on the left.
Let's see. I didn't see how Pat escaped the back there. So, doing some hand fighting, getting his shoulders disengaged or misaligned, and then to the mat. And Cole having to settle back for taking mount there, putting on an immediate crossface. And it looks like he's trying to set up some smothering pressure here with controlling the head.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that Pat is either going to take the smother or try to frame, thereby opening up his elbow. And then that allows Cole to sink in an underhook with his left arm to Pat's right arm.
Yeah, so he's got the gift wrap. I kind of wish he would have held on to that a little bit more. Maybe he's trying to work for something else, but Pat's recaptured the leg, so now he's in 3/4 mount / quarter guard.
Warms my heart to see a father and son trying to beat the piss out of each other.
It doesn't, yeah.
I can't wait till Kurt can roll again. Now, like, both the twins can just start beating up on him.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be able to strangle him instead of strangling me all the time.
Yeah, right?
Dude, those little forearms hurt.
Yeah, they find their way around your neck pretty easily.
Yeah.
So Pat's flattened out right here in half guard, which is not, that's not where you want to play from typically in half. He did have a lockdown. He's kind of transitioning there. He's back to the lockdown. I'd really like to see him fighting for the underhook on with his right arm. I think a lot of times we forget to try to utilize like knee levers to get our opponents basing out. Like Cole could have been, well, let's see, before I speak. So right now, Cole's knee is on the ground. Cole's left knee is on the ground through a lot of this, which is prerequisite for a knee lever, right? Where you step on the outside of your opponent's legs with your feet, you push your knees in this direction. And that's either going to get you a sweep if Cole was committed around the head and didn't have a base, or more likely he's going to base out. And when he bases out, he puts his left hand on the mat, and Pat can reach up for an underhook. So working from flat on your back like this, it kind of sucks, but like you got to keep in mind, how do I get my frames back in? How do I get to underhooks? How do I get them off balance? Another common thing for lockdown is using the swing of your legs, using that pendulum to set up Kazushi, to get to any number of other positions, right? So Don't just lay flat on your back when you're pinned in half guard. Really want to see you working from there.
You're blocking view.
Quick little Ashi sweep from you there on Andrew.
Yeah, so he's pulling really heavy on my head. I had a mutual collar tie and everything, but I knew that we weren't gonna be going too far. So as soon as I felt that we were both kind of going down at the same rate, I snagged kind of like a knee pick and pull myself underneath, shoot up into his legs, and then pop him down on his butt from Ashi here. And again, like Matt and I talk about all the time, if you're not going to go straight in on the leg, or you don't feel like you have the leg for whatever reason, then get your ass up, right? Like, you need to put him down on the mat and stand up, right? And this, from a competition standpoint, gets you 2 points immediate, after 3 seconds. But then even in just like a standard battle type of a thing, right? Like, it puts you on top. Now you're passing guard, or you have a good shot at trying to pass the guard here.
Yeah, and I feel like that would have also been a good opportunity for Andrew to stand up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like right as he comes in on the single leg, like you're off balance a little bit. You've stepped back, like right there, you're off balance.
Yep.
With his legs out in front of him, though, it's going to be very difficult to get to a standing position. So that's where you got to kind of keep in mind how nimble and athletic you can be, and where you choose to put your legs. No one is going to be able to stand up if your legs are in front of you. So you have to pull your feet back and be able to move at a moment's notice. Let's see, Steven working to an armbar, but Pat's wise to it.
No, Jason and Jordan.
Oh yeah, by the
Duncan and
line.
Caleb. Braden and Cole, maybe?
I think so, yeah. So much to look at. And anybody in the chat, please help us out if we miss stuff. I think we always end up just focusing on the center.
Yep.
So I'm kind of waiting to see what Ronnie's doing with Austin here.
Looks like she's trying to go for that far side Kimura, but she's not letting go of that head control.
Yeah. Yeah, she's had him pinned in side control for a minute here. Now he's back to his knees. He's getting safe again, looking to regard.
Oh, you know what she did was she took the top hand and then she kind of like did like this reverse gift wrap type of a thing. So she takes the hand, she pushes it down, gives a pass off to her left hand here. So now he's in a gift wrap that way. And I think she's trying to flatten him out.
I don't think I've ever done that grip before.
I haven't either, but like now that I'm thinking about it, it basically just promotes him getting up into you when you do it that way, right? Like that gift wrap should be going the other way if you want to keep him down.
Interesting.
How did Jason take the back there?
Let's check it out.
I mean, it's so hard to concentrate.
All right, so from mount.
Jordan's giving hip bump. Yep.
Yeah, so Jordan lets his elbow get across. We've all been there, man. But Jordan, this is a good point here. So when you're dealing with mount, you're gonna start thinking about things like elbow escape, stuff we've talked about, all well and good. What you don't want to do in an elbow escape is when you get to your side, your top arm, the elbow of your top arm cannot go across your opponent's center line, right? Can't go past their belly button. If it does, your back is exposed. So that's, again, talking about frames, working on your framing and all that stuff. That's going to be something you have to kind of like drill, is making sure as you go to your elbow escape, you're not sending your arm all the way across. Because otherwise, this is what happens. You can see you get right up to here, right there, you're in trouble. And Jason knows that he can take the back now. So he sets up a gift wrap, switches to this modified mount. I'd like to see him pull his left leg in closer to your back for the back take. Not terrible. I mean, he gets there and can secure it, but that's how that happened. It was because your elbow went across the center line. I have one with Steven and Pat. So Steven's on the cross side, the guillotine cross side.
North south.
Pat got out of it. Looks like they're just pausing. Oh, you gave him a bloody nose.
Oh, okay.
Rude. He's just right back in on that Irimiyashi sweep.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things when your opponent's really aggressive up top and they just keep coming in, and you can't get to a double leg, they leave it open for a leg on leg attack, I'll call it, right? So
Sure.
that way I can kind of bypass those hand frames from the double leg attack and then just shoot straight in for the legs.
No, Joe, you're not. You're just the most common one. All right, Jason. Let's look at this a little bit. So a little bit of switching sides here. Jason has the... Man, this is great. He's taking time. He transitions from hooks. Switches sides, sets up his body triangle. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
That gives him some confidence to work up top on the hand fight. Reinforcing his foot as he needs to. And then it looks like Jordan switches sides here. Jordan's the one in control of which way people go, typically. Whoever's getting strangled has a better connection with the ground via their feet, so they can kind of switch sides a little bit more easily than the strangler can. And yeah, Jason just snuck that right in. Look at that, punch that right across under that gap in the elbow. Strips the hand away. Constant hand fight over the knuckles. Jordan, you're doing well to attack the knuckle line. That's where you want to go. You don't want to be grabbing the forearm. You're immediately, every time, trying to get back to the knuckle line, so that's good. And then Jason was just able to beat you on the hand fight.
And so Jason was employing something, like a different type of a tactic. You normally, again, since Marcelo was, really big, he was the inventor of the seatbelt grip, right? Like he kind of, not the inventor, but he kind of made it famous in competition, right? So we always talk about a strangle arm, which is the one that's around your neck, and then a control arm, which is the one that's under the other arm, right? So you always have one and one. Jason is not using that gripping style. He's using one that Coach Luke prefers, which is going to be a double strangle. There are pros and cons to that. With the double strangle, it gives your shoulders and hips the ability to move freely, right? Because it's just going around your neck. You don't have another your arm being pulled in and preventing rotation from one to the other. However, Jason has a body triangle on you, which is locking your hips down pretty darn good here, and it'll slow down your shoulder movement. So he's giving you a double strangle threat the entire time. So it's a little bit different battle that you're facing rather than what we generally see with that seatbelt style, over under.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jordan, you say you wanted to be on the strangle side. That's fine. You may have better luck escaping on that side. And furthermore, to Mike's point, if you managed to get 2-on-1 on that strangle arm, take it over your head, you're immediately free, right? Because you fell to that strangle side, and because Jason doesn't have an underhooking arm, his top arm isn't underhooking, he doesn't have quite as much control over your shoulders if you were to escape that way. So it wasn't a bad choice on your part to try to work
Not at all.
from the strangle side. There are good ways to escape strangle or control side too, so not a bad choice. You just lost the hand fight. That's all that was.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan immediately looking for back attacks himself.
Trying to find the hook, wasn't able to get the hook. Oh, kept good control of that far arm though.
Yeah,
Okay.
that wasn't bad, man. So you got kind of bucked there with like a Maki Komi sort of. I like that you immediately try to get that top hook into control. Jason was just wise here to keep he keeps his hips and his back on the ground until he switches up. Had he kind of bridged up into you, it would have given you room for your bottom leg to sneak through to establish a bottom side hook, which is going to be the hardest hook to get there. But he was just keeping the pressure as he moved around, so didn't give you that opportunity. And Ronnie back to isolating that far arm, almost gets the Kimura, which probably doesn't phase Austin too much.
Yeah, but she is definitely, she got straight on that north-south choke.
Yeah.
That was a really astute transition here.
Yeah, and right as she bailed on the Kimura, before she even left cross, side control, she bails the Kimura but sets up with a deep reverse crossface, if you want to call it.
So
that.
what I really like about this setup is Austin's attention is solely on the Kimura. So what does that mean? Somebody who's defending the Kimura, anybody who's good, they know that their shoulder that's being attacked needs to stay on the ground. So if they're trying to keep it on the ground, that means that their head is going to be turning towards that arm. Now, when Veronica comes around and she hits the this, I'll just call it the north-south strangle arm right here. Austin's head is already facing in that direction. So all she needs to do is close her lat to basically catch his chin here before he starts looking in the other direction. And that's exactly what she's doing. So she's got the grip. She lets go here, and now he feels safe from the Kimura, but now completely threatened by the strangle.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. As he turns away, he opens up his neck for this, because normally north-south is fairly easy to deal with. The strangle, it sucks, but even a late stage escape, you just kind of turn into them. You turn your face towards their ribs. You can get your nose smashed a little bit, but it's gotten me out of Luke doing it to me before. It's a pretty effective way to shut it down. But he started, from a deficit in that he was turned away a little bit when she set it in. That's a good catch. I didn't even think about that. Jason had a strong Strong showing there towards the end, really trying to attack the arms. Jordan wasn't giving it up. Did you taught this day, right? This past Monday?
Yep. Yeah, this was the guillotine class. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, yeah, because I normally, so I'm with Andrew right now, and I can't say I've tried Americanas, or I'm sorry, Anacondas too frequently, but I think we just went over that in class, right?
Yep.
So I go to hit the roll through, and he taps right about here. He tapped a little early on this one. I guess I just had it like pretty deep.
Nice.
But yeah, it was fun. I was like, oh yeah, I haven't thought about those in a while.
Braden just hit one too. I mean, he hits it all the time, and not from me teaching it. He's just he's done that to me before. Him and Gavin, I believe.
Well, yeah, and so I don't know if it makes a big difference in folk style wrestling, but you hit that like gator roll in wrestling, I think you get either like near pin points or back, like exposing their back to the mat. You get points for that. So it's a really good move for wrestlers to be proficient at. Ooh. Jason with a nice little knee pick toss there on Joe. You see that?
I didn't. Oh, nice.
I think he didn't follow through just because you and the
dude. That is one dude in our portfolio, so to speak, that you do not want going full force stand up.
Jason.
Yeah. That man, he's a powerful dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some videos. I won't tell Jason the joke that you said that, Joe, at all, ever. Cole just hit. Cole and Duncan. Alright, so Duncan's working to a standing guard break. Alright, Cole's looking to get... he goes right into a... I can't tell how his leg configuration ended up. I thought he made it into... It wasn't cross ashi, it was like backwards from there. But it was good timing on Duncan's standing guard break escape.
Let's see what Duncan does here, because he's got outside ashi, or Cole does.
Yeah, and Duncan's taken the knee bar away from him, which I think Cole was going for. It looks like he's getting back to it now.
Yeah, but I think he's may have been folding his legs. There you go. And now he's scooting around and trying to take the back.
The dangers of outside ashi.
Oh, nice. There it is. Now he's got the pass, and he's pinning. Good on Duncan.
Yeah, that was great.
It's a way to stay composed while you're getting your legs attacked, you know? You're on a rear triangle.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. So I tried to hit my side control triangle entrance. So I'm working from a shin pin. I pick up Andrew's head. I hit the shoulder drop, and I grab my shin, expecting Andrew to roll up towards me. It would put me on my back, and I could cut my angle, but he doesn't, because I think he knows I like this move. So he stays there, and starts to like get his elbow down and hide his back, refusing to roll up towards me and give me the triangle. So I had to shift into a rear triangle, and you could see I kind of set up like a trap triangle from the side, like my ankles are crossed, I got one arm in, one arm out, but now I have to scoot my hips around in this direction to get to a spot where I can hit a strangle. So once I feel like I've secured everything, I'm starting to get the arm up. I believe I might grab my shin here, hit that little hip scoot.
Yep.
Actually a pretty big hip scoot. right out there, and now I'm behind him, and I could set up my rear triangle.
Yeah, like before, I mean, Andrew could really realize what he was scooting into. You reached down and snatched that left elbow really long, like really far down, right there. Here. Yeah. Once you grab this, then, you know, like he can't move one way or the other. If he continues to roll back up onto his stay pinned where he is on his back, you could rotate up and take like an Orimi triangle or a standard triangle from the top, or a mote, whatever. But here, if he comes back, you know, and starts to face away from you, then you can do exactly what you did, scoot your hips out. But it all comes from this exposure of the elbow.
Yeah. I think if you were to get his right arm in, if he could possibly shift his shoulders around to create some space and sneak his right arm in, connect his hands, that might be more of a later stage escape he could try to work here. You know, right there where I scoop my hips out to cut my angle is another opportunity where he could have tried to. I mean, that's a hard thing to time because you can't see it.
Yep.
Yeah, but then once I get the triangle set up, I already have the arm over the head, so it's a lot harder to get out of that. Duncan's still attacking Cole's back here. Duncan's being a little lazy with his legs. I'd like to see a better connection. Yep. And honestly, at this point, since Cole's shoulders are out, this is a good time for Duncan to before he transitions to mount. If he wants to keep the back, he's got this long hook in with his left leg. What I like to do from here is, with my top side arm, I take a big, deep claw grip all the way around the neck. I don't care if the arm is in or not. I'll immediately go as far around the neck as I can. I pull you over across, I pull your head across my center line, and then I'll use that long hook to try to shift myself to the other direction. So like Duncan would try to turn towards his left now, get his hips back out, and can reclaim the back. I'm not opposed to him taking mount from here if he feels like he can immediately start attacking. But there are just so many times where it's like, I've worked to get to the back. I'm not going to settle for mount where I may get bucked or, in that transitions, Mike, you might get your knee in, and now I'm fighting out of a leg attack. So no, let me stay on the back and work from there. You don't necessarily have to just give it up. Brain's trying to break Caleb's leg. Duncan getting mean with the crossface. Love to see it. He's got to get his knee out. Got a little too high here. Let's see. It's hard to see exactly what his arms are doing. Does he have... Yeah, he's got an underhook on Cole's left arm. So as he elevates his hips here, bringing his center of gravity up higher, like there's a pro and a con to this. That's most likely how you're going to extract your leg, but you also become a little bit more unstable. So you got to make sure you have a good base. I would put my head on this side for this one if I could. Definitely not up Cole's center line like it is now. And then that way, like, let me think. That's a hard one to think about because, like, Maybe I would. I'm gonna have to think about that one. So let's see which leg is trapped. So his right leg is trapped. I would probably put my head on the side of my free leg to maintain a stable base as I like posture up, bring my hips up and then like use my foot wedge to get out.
His left leg is actually trapped.
Is it his? Oh yeah.
Yes, it's kind of awkward because he has the underhook on the wrong side, right? Like he's got an underhook on Cole's left side, but Duncan's left leg is trapped. Yeah. So it's an awkward pass from here.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't catch that.
You'd probably be better off trying to fight for that other underhook, trying to score top. He's got chest to chest, so just advancing his arm pummeling in position,
yeah,
and then trying to secure the leg pass or the hip pass from there. That would be my advice.
I think Steven gets a deep knee bar on me in this round.
Reaching through and grabbed your nice.
I definitely should have tapped at some point on this, but then I think I worked my way out of it. No, I did not. Okay. That was
So he set it up by attacking your other leg, and then you gave him some sort of reaction. So look, his right hand actually came under and grabbed your right ankle, I believe.
Well, he's attacking my left leg.
Yeah, but watch what he does early on. So he's got a frame on the left here, but watch what he. So here, play from here. So he's got this frame. I'm sorry, that cross shoulder post. He goes up, threatens to basically take you up and over. You come up. He's threatening a little bit of a shoulder crunch. You're pummeling in, and then here he dives in and he's gonna grab your right ankle. There.
I don't see a hand on my ankle. Here's my right ankle. He's not.
Okay, I thought I saw something come through.
I think he just dives deep half and then transitions to the backside.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's. I mean, he gets my leg and then just
immediately just attacks that same side leg.
Super.
Okay.
Yeah. So right here, I probably should have tapped. It was pretty deep. But after having been knee barred at the comp, I was like, nah. So then he does this to me. That's that's pretty good extension.
Yep.
That was a great setup. Rush on the back for Caleb. In fact, let's see how he got back there. So I think Rush is going to be doing an IBJJF Open in Atlanta here in a couple months. So he's definitely been focusing on his training intensity a bit when he's with us.
Yeah, I just learned about that on Saturday, so hopefully we can train together tomorrow. I like how he's grabbing the foot of Caleb to prevent any sort of double leg attempt or leg attacks by Caleb. You and Steven are in a 50-50 battle.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. So Andrew and Brandon. Nice, a Sotogari on Brandon. Right up by the TV. So collar tie, wrist grip.
Oh, that was a nice setup.
Yeah, only thing I'd say to make it any better is Andrew try to get Brandon's head back behind the leg earlier. Like you want to get you want to take his head, you know, out this way and behind him, just to like really give yourself peace of mind that this 50-50 position that you kind of find yourself in is gonna go in your favor. But either way, you got the takedown. It looked great. Brandon was ready for it, though. Hits the re-roll. Yeah, I told Steven recently, because I think you recall, like, you and I had a lot of 50-50 battles. I've tapped Luke, you know, a couple times from 50-50. The times I've tapped him live, more often than not, or so the majority of them come from 50-50. So I had like a pretty false sense of security about how good I was in 50-50, and I just realized now that like people just were too afraid to attack, and now Steven's not afraid to attack. My 50-50 isn't as good as I thought it was. You just have to attack and pretty much get me.
It's stupid how fast everybody learns. I mean, me and Steven were talking about it yesterday, right? Like, it's we learn each other's games so well, and it comes down to like who's gonna mess up a little bit during the the time that we have here.
So I was seeing what Caleb and Rush were doing. Yeah, and Steven's a good example of that with playing 50-50 with me. I no longer feel, because even Steven was saying I would just catch him there all the time. Every time I'd win 50-50 with him, and then he just one day decided to counterattack, and now I have to rethink my entire game. What did Rush just do?
No, so watch this. Caleb shoots in, and Rush just goes right up with him. That's the thumbnail.
There it is.
That's the thumbnail.
Got him. What was that? Was that just did
he pulled into a Rimiashi, and Rush just basically kept sitting on the knee, on the bottom knee. Caleb wasn't able to get it in.
Gotcha. He was like, "That's mine now."
So anybody who's in like a little bit newer to the leg attacks and whatnot, the middle knee, or the knee that kind of comes in between the legs, is the priority leg for you to set up that Arimiashi position. If you don't have it, then that happens.
Yeah, he kept it. I mean, it's a knee shield essentially.
It is. That's 100% right.
I don't think we ever really refer to it as that, but it's basically what it's doing.
It's literally the only thing stopping you from a dominant position and them getting into mount.
I thought Rush had an armbar there or something.
I think he had the strangle. I think he finished with the strangle.
Yeah. Caleb Turtles. Great turtle breakdown. You see that?
Oh yeah, no, because we went over it that night.
So Rush doesn't get the bottom hook in, which is a bit of a problem. But here he goes for almost like a rear crucifix position. It doesn't get that. I just like how tenacious he is on the on controlling the neck. And then he and I talked about this. You may have been there too. It was probably the last time we went over back control. When you don't have hooks in, but you have your seatbelt grip, you don't need to worry. Like they've gotten their hips free. You think, I've lost the back. There's, I'm not going to recover this. You absolutely can recover it. And in fact, sometimes when people get like halfway out with their hips, I let them get all the way out to work this recovery that Rush is working right now. So Rush is he's gripping up top. He hasn't compromised his upper body connection. But watch what he does. He shrimps his butt away. He's gonna walk. We'll see. Well, if he does it, as textbook as you can do it, he's gonna walk his hips away and kind of be in a straight line with Caleb. Sit Caleb back up, and then throw a hook over and get back to his strangle. So here he's disengaged his hips. Caleb's giving him some trouble now. Okay, I can guarantee that's what Rush was trying to do. Was walk away and sit him up to reestablish the strangle. Still hasn't let it up though. Like his grips haven't changed at all. Now he's getting into a rear triangle position. Disengages. Looks like he just hits a short choke.
I think that's what it is.
Had to improvise through there a bit, but that was good. I'm glad he had so much faith in his upper body grips there. That's what saved that.
You are on a triangle attack. Now you go in for legs here.
Yeah, it was never going to be a triangle. Steven doesn't let me triangle him.
Now
He
you're going
definitely
for the
lets me
knee
knee
bar.
bar him. I had to switch to a lat knee bar.
Oh, that's a tight knee bar.
Yeah, I was a little worried about the transition too. I thought he might get out of that, but yeah, as soon as if I get a triangle on Steven, it has to either be like perfect from the get-go, or I know I'm gonna have to transition. I'm not gonna recover when Steven starts to posture up. It's like damn near impossible.
Yep.
So instead, I dig on that leg, and as soon as he postures up, I go into enter the leg. He's doing good to control my hips here. I'm trying to get around the cross ashi, but I managed to hold the leg and come up to a reverse ashi facing his feet. And that's where I can then finish my turn into cross ashi. I really put some torque on it here, and he wasn't tapping, which is what prompted me to make the switch. And that's right here is like where I was worried that I was going to lose it, but I managed to my elbow beat his heel, and I was able to pull it back.
So my Tuesday morning quarterback approach here, right? Watch where, look, so you didn't get the tap here. Look where Steven's right leg is. It's putting pressure on your right leg, right? He's trying to feed through, because if you have both legs around both of his legs, then you don't have a knee bar anymore. So he's doing exactly, in my opinion, what I would be trying to do, sending your hips, like he's trying to pull your hips into his hips to give, to prevent or to send that fulcrum out and away from your hips. And then you go to readjust and watch what he does with his right leg. Kicks it out. So now he has no ability to get his leg in between your legs now. So he's literally, it's kind of like a sitting duck here. The only way that I feel like he would have been able to get out of this is to start rotating down and towards you. So, sitting up and trying to get around. And I don't know if, that would have been a very tight timeline for him to be able to get out of that.
Yeah. At this point, there's really no getting out of that one.
And it's happening so fast.
Yeah. His foot can't turn there.
No.
So he's kind of dead to rights. But it's okay because he knee barred me first, so I don't feel bad.
It was a good exchange. That's like a very technical battle.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I didn't like how I switched to the lat. I felt like I created too much room, and I could have tightened that up a bit better. Instead of because I reached all the way up and then brought it back, where I should have reached through and then brought it up, if that makes any sense.
So now he's trying to step into cross ashi. He's got that.
I don't remember what happens here. I know I'm fighting with both feet. I try to hurt his foot.
Yeah, so he's staying diligent on that foot.
Yeah, and there I'm just using my own legs to pummel in.
Nice.
Get my legs safe. How did Rush and Caleb end here?
I don't know what just happened, but they Oh, here we go. Leg attack. Heel hook.
All right.
So
And Rush steps right over. Little knuckles in the throat action.
I don't know if that's IBJJF legal.
Yeah, just to what I was saying before. And I think to your same point with Steven, like I'm using my leg to get in on the locking leg, on Steven's locking leg here, to break open that triangle. So once I get that free, I think I even grab my own foot and like pull it to safety.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I hate when you do that.
That's like some Austin kind of garbage.
Yeah.
All right, Gavin and Steven. Oh yeah, Dan was here. That's right.
Yep.
It's Dan and Jason. I didn't get to see this one.
It's Dan and Jason, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Good, Jason.
Beautiful.
Even with Dan going down to the double ankle grips, like Jason wasn't too phased by it. I feel like he felt confident in his base there, and was able to get the legs open. I'd like to see, as you come down, I mean, maybe Dan's putting a little bit of backwards pressure, so Jason didn't like staple the knee down right away. That would have been what I would have liked to see, but people respond differently when you break those legs open, so may not have been feasible. I've been given some good mean cross faces. Dan getting tired of being down. Go off the screen. Meanwhile, Pat and Jordan.
Wow, what was that?
Let's see. Just watching Gavin. May have just been a smother, possibly. Yeah, looks like heavy pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Joe has one of the twins in a very deep triangle. Yeah.
Cole and Brandon back there.
Jordan leading with the leg up the middle. Jordan, you're looking for that pass there. I could see. So right up the middle. Here you kind of give up the underhook a little too easily.
Yep.
And that's puts you right down.
What we need to work on, Jordan, on that one, is weak side passing from half guard. When you can't find the underhook on a strong side pass, right, for a knee cut and whatnot, you can always work to the weak side and throw a different look at it. We can go over that again tomorrow or another time. Frames are number one right now, but then the passing we can always look at as extracurricular.
Dan's doing a good job keeping Jason at bay. I haven't seen Jason really be able to make much forward progress. Now he's around the knee. Hope he recognizes that.
And Dan doesn't like it very much. He's trying to get his knee back.
Yeah.
He's trying to reclaim his knee line. For anyone uninitiated or doesn't understand what we're talking about, it's the right knee of Dan is the one that he wants to reclaim. That was an interesting sweep here. Oh, Kimura.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, my bad.
And then, yeah, good elevation. Kind of pressuring off the floor a little bit. That was nice. So now, there we go. Okay, he's got the leg free. So it's funny. Dan was telling me he and I were talking about this. How he he likes to use the head scissor with the legs,
Yeah.
and that's good. He got a tap out of it. I told him to try playing around with the side triangle there as well. Like look for that arm. If you get to that dorsal position and you can't capture the arm necessarily, like right here, it kind of makes sense that he goes for that dilemma of the Kimura and the head scissor. But then when if you get to that, I feel like head scissors normally fairly easy to shut down or disrupt. As they start to shut it down, you can sometimes transition by capturing their far side arm with your leg and transition into a loose side triangle and then kind of tighten it up with some grip adjustments. But yeah, that'd be one easy thing I feel like he could add into his game if he already likes that position. Gavin brought the heat on this round, which is good. Like I decided I don't mind rolling with our younger Lions here, but if they don't bring the intensity, I'm gonna have to force them to get more intense. So Gavin didn't need any persuasion in this round. He was ready to roll.
That's good.
Pat almost with the hip bump. Yeah, so you're working. Pat was working the hip bump from like it's either half guard or open guard, so not quite as much power as you get when working it from close guard. Oh, I think Gavin and I talked through. I feel like every time Gavin and I roll, we end up making like further and further refinements on his back attack game, which is just like it's just getting sharper and sharper. What were we talking about here? I think we were looking at hand fighting. So he has my arm trapped. Like he has my top arm trapped. So I'm telling him here to switch sides, switch strangle and control side right now. That way, his arm here can control my hand more easily as he sets up his strangle, and you guys will see why. So let's take it back a few steps. Right, so his strangle arm is on the bottom side, but my free arm can pretty easily attack it. Now if he switches, so he'll reach across, he'll pull my head to the other side of his head. Now he can use that bottom arm of his to weave underneath, trap there, set up his a deep strangle, and then when he wants to go for the finish, he can hide his knuckles with his chin, pull that arm out, and then we can get into one last hand fight that he can normally win pretty easily, and then get the finish he wants. So a little technical tip on that. Like, probably could have finished it the other way too. Like, there's no reason you couldn't have. But if you can shut down that hand fight a little bit more easily, all the better.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
He couldn't submit you and Mike anymore. I told him that was the idea. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, 100%. I'm tired of being embarrassed on this stream, right?
Yeah, it's your problem.
And it's time.
Yeah, I mean, all kidding aside, like for when you guys are going with some of the adults, like what I love to see and how I like to train with you guys is you're not gonna tap me unless you execute your series of moves perfectly. Like I'm not gonna give you any slap, right? You'll tap me when you demonstrate that like you're really thinking your way through the move and put it like executing it properly, which you guys do. So it's not like you've stopped doing that. We also just need to give you more and more resistance so you guys get better. That's just how it works.
For sure.
Man, I don't know if they need any reminding, but feel free.
My throat hurts from Gavin 10-finger guillotine choking me.
Oh yeah.
On Saturday.
I forgot about that.
Dude, that was 100% too. Like,
just put to work.
I can't believe I showed it on Monday, and then he sits there and strangles me with it on Saturday.
Yeah, why can't our adult students do that?
I know, right?
Let's look at Dan and Andrew here. I think they're having a good little scrap.
Dan's leg dragging. That was a good leg drag against the guard there.
Yeah. You didn't push the knees like all the way away. He didn't really have to. He got to settle into side control fairly easily there. So now he's setting up that Kimura. His elbow's kind of far up the arm. Not a total deal breaker for the move. I don't think there was a tap there. Yeah, so
he didn't because he wasn't able. So this was one of the big takeaways that I took away, or that I got from the Danaher Kimura series, is that the way that he's finishing this, he's essentially pulling Andrew up on top of him. He has no diagonal control over Andrew. If he were to take his right leg and start stepping over the head and creating a diagonal pressure line, like attacking Andrew's left shoulder and pinning his right hip, then he would have a much better job or time finishing this Kimura here. That would be my instruction.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like we talk about when you guys are attacking a joint, the joint you're trying to break, you have to be in control of the next joint up, right? So for Kimura's kind of it follows that rule, but it's a little weird because like the way I describe attacking it, I know you guys have probably heard me say it a million times, getting your elbow close to his elbow, like all the way behind it. The Kimura is an attack on the shoulder, but you really do a lot of the lifting and the force application at the elbow. But the next joint up from the shoulder that you need to control is really like the head, like the head and neck and the shoulder line. So it kind of say again.
The spine. You have to control the spine.
Right. So it kind of like it blurs the definition of that rule of thumb a little bit, but it still applies just slightly differently. So if Dan had stepped over the head and moved his elbow down towards Andrew's elbow, absolute would have been a tap. Instead, Andrew was able to get safe and get his arm back. Dan had to transition from there. Into the mounted triangle. Dude, I bet when he gets it, he got it behind you. I bet Dan's triangles feel terrible.
No kidding. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Hide you a little bit here. So Andrew sneaks around behind. Dan starts escaping by going down the body,
Mm-hmm.
but leaves an arm behind.
Drilling what? Kimuras on Friday, Joe? Which submission or what position?
Oh, the triangle.
Ah.
Braden coming up, not wasting any time, taking the back on Austin to get the leg free. Doing good. Drag that. Yeah, you gotta drag that leg over. Austin's a little hard to break down. All right, active round. I'm sure. I didn't really want to experience it, so I tried not to. This was the first time I got to roll with Dan. So he's working this De La Riva position on me, and I try to counter that with a leg drag. So really pinning his legs down, but then pulling up here to get both legs on the side of my body, on the same side of my body rather, and then trying to get my way around. He had control of my ankle, which really stymied my attempt. But now is into body lock style passing. So grabbing the foot, trying to keep it pinned, and that didn't work. So then trying to pass from half guard. So yeah, I mean, if it's not completely obvious, I just tried a looser style of passing that then transitioned into a tight style of passing, now transitioning into a different tight style of passing. So I went, passing from the outside, not really toreando, just like sort of leg control, trying to step around into body lock, now into half guard passing. So it's good to have a few in your arsenal, and this one did the trick, right? So I got my underhook and my crossface and made the transition over. Here I start to work my dorsal position, and I opt, instead of the head scissor, I opt for my side triangle against him. And now it's on to the grip fight. From here, I didn't really think I would hit a triangle on him, so it was primarily focused on the Kimura, either the near side or the far side, and just trying to get the grip broken, which is no easy feat on him. There, once I got the grip broken. Finish the standard Kimura.
That's nice.
Looks like Rush is experiencing Pat's bear trap of a leg, or legs.
Yeah.
Not able to get his knee out. One thing Rush isn't doing here. Let me hide myself real quick. So before he gets out, so he struggled here for a little while. I mean, yeah. So you can see he's struggling with this position. A good thing to do here, it's a little delicate, because this leg is he's using it to base right now. But if he can come up and quickly kind of push off of this knee and try to open the legs up just a hair to hit this knee cut pass and finish it, that could be all it takes. I didn't see how he gets his leg out, so let me let this play. Okay, there it is. Okay, good. Yeah, it's a little delicate because all of a sudden you're kind of taking some of your base away. Dan in on a straight ankle, which was concerning. I didn't want him to like treat my leg like those guys on Instagram who like straight ankle baseball bats and snap them.
Right.
Not that I thought he would, but I certainly think he can. So it was a matter of, you'll notice I get my leg safe once I feel like I'm in a safe spot. There's no immediate danger. I focus on the bottom leg. I'll put my hands to his ankle, pop it off, hop over his hip. As soon as my hips are free, I know I'm safe. So I have to do it again, and now I can get up and go on the counterattack.
Front headlock. Oh, okay. He tries to roll through the front headlock position.
Yeah. And notice I'm grapevining with my right leg because my left arm was very deeply committed on a crossface, and I had a feeling with my hips being over his, he wouldn't be shy on a big heavy bridge. So that grapevine kind of disrupts his connection with the ground, or I'm trying to disrupt his connection with the ground. But I utilize that for a back take. And I don't remember if I get this or not. I don't think I do. I think he was pretty stubborn and let me get to his neck. Rush is keeping himself safe with his butterfly half.
No, that was a very well timed to get up from Rush. This is a good example of just not accepting bottom position. So
I feel like Rush does that very well.
Rush makes it very clear here that he does not want to be underneath Pat anymore.
It's hard to see just because of the lighting, but it almost, I think he has like it's like he has a spider guard sort of setup.
He's got a wrist grip with his left hand, and then he's flaring out with his left knee here.
And that's what gets Pat moving. Because it just looks like Pat rolls here, but you know that's not what's going on. Yeah, no. He's pressuring down, and then hand to the hip, comes up, takes a good top position.
Yeah, so you could see how he had his leg threaded through that arm.
Yeah, that was nice.
In on the armbar.
Yes, sir, and he gets it.
Got it. Wow, great finish. That was a great exchange.
Let's watch Braden not tap me. I think Braden chose to play from his back quite a bit in this round. I mean, obviously he opened up with an Imanari, maybe for funsies. But yeah, I'm curious, Braden, if you're working on something specific, if you just that night you just wanted to play a specific position, let me know. I'm not sure if he did that with anybody else prior.
He's been playing that with me the past couple of times we've trained together.
I mean, I don't have a great recollection of some of his recent comp matches. But if he spends all his time dominating from top position, it wouldn't be a bad idea for him to just sit to guard or like, yeah, try an Imanari roll, whatever, have fun with it. But then like really put in some work from seated or supine position. So here he's working into an omoplata. And then transitioning into the legs, which is great. I love that he transitioned from this upper body attack right into the legs. This is something that's new to me within the last year, is really using the omoplata as a leg entrance, not as a finish in and of itself. I've probably failed 95% of omoplatas I've ever attempted, and I've probably only ever thought about switching to legs, in the last 6 months or so. So a lot of missed opportunities on my end to work on that.
Good sweeping, sitting Matt down to the butt here, Braden, with that Iramiyashi position. That was a really, you and Gavin are very, very strong at that sit down, at that sweep.
Yeah, I feel like that's gotten pretty natural for them. And transitioning to the reverse triangle. Crush Jordan's face. Let's watch it again. You don't have to apologize. It's not my face. What happened? Oh. just hip bone right onto the nose. Oh, look at that. A bloody nose. I wonder who did it. I think I may have told Braden right there, don't play from your back if you don't have to. Spending a lot of time here just kind of kicking at my legs when there is space where he could sit up, or if you're going to kick somebody's legs away and create space, sit up and start attacking from there. I find seated position to be a much more offensive spot than being supine or flat on your back. I'd much rather play from seated. Rush working in for the armbar here. Good. I'm happy to see Caleb utilizing that Makikomi. He and Daniel use that really well, but I know when I've tapped Daniel after that roll, it's come from this like rear crucifix position that Caleb's found himself in now. So it's a good roll, but like you've got to get to a good spot from there. You can't just kind of hit it and then rely on your weight or whatever to pin. Really want to see you scramble up and take a more secure top position. Did Braden tap me? Fine, we'll give him his credit. There we go.
See?
Hey, what's he talking about? He doesn't tap me. What was that?
Prime example. Do everything perfect. Get the tap.
Yeah. Then immediately to a Remiashi. Rush in on, let's see. If he doesn't, I feel like he was thinking more armbar there. So he didn't have a triangle. But not enough connection, and Caleb can put him to his butt. sides of the mat. Oh, okay. Or the wall. Rush bringing the intensity.
Yeah, he looks amped up.
Yeah, and he and Bertram went over some Russian Thai stuff, I think the Tuesday prior to this. So he's really trying to fold that into his stand-up game. I think in preparation for the Atlanta Open.
Oh, he left his leg in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna let him get away with that. Yeah, it's funny, like I think you and I have talked about how like at my one purple belt competition where I just lost catastrophically, I kept getting my back taken from standing position from really lazy arm position, you know, with collar ties and stuff like that. Now I'm finding myself getting my back taken from these like Uchimata attempts and stuff like that people are slipping out of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a whole nother thing I need to tighten up. And then here, let's look at how Rush gets in on this one. Okay, so he goes in for this like this single leg, transitions to the back, but he's again in that same position where he's behind me, but his leg is in the middle. I don't want to go for the same thing again, and I don't want to blow his knee out, so I don't go for like a flying scissor takedown. But I grab that leg and I roll forward with it to get to a cross ashi position. But he shuts that down.
It's nice of Sotogari.
Who is that?
From Steven on Jason. So it comes around.
Oh, interesting. And that was from like a pinch headlock too.
Yep.
We don't really see that too much. If
I
ever.
mean, it makes you wonder why when it's set up like that, right? It's a head and arm throw, essentially.
Yeah. Clever. Who's Caleb steamrolling?
Stopped. Is that Joe? Who is that?
I think it might be. So I'm working the fall sweep stuff with Rush here. I just can't get my my right leg behind his heel. So I'm stuck in the position where both of my legs are in front of his leg.
Yep.
But if I can get him off balance, there we go. Then I can set up into cross ashi, but I lose the hand connection around his knee.
Yep.
But yeah, that was all from kind of like my second match at the last competition. It was from this butterfly half guard with the person pressuring in towards me that allowed me to enter into cross ashi. So something for you guys to consider if you're against somebody playing a butterfly half. I tend to hang back and control the legs and pass to the rear side rather than pressing forward and trying to control the legs and press forward to the front side. If you don't get that leg out, good chance you're ending up in a pretty compromised position. Or you can just be like Rush and totally shut me down. And Andrew back to working that standing guard break, it looks like. Show it in on the leg, no longer caring about passing. Andrew, from here, let's see before I critique you too hard. When you're in someone's guard, from now on, I never want to see you attacking arms like this ever again. All I want you to focus on is standing up. Even if you fail repeatedly at the standing guard break, I want to see you getting better at standing up to a straight upright posture. Even though you might say that you were trying to control Cole's arms in order to get there. I don't think that that's a good way to do it. It just extends your own arms. Like, I'd rather see your arms no further, or I'd rather see your hands no further up his arms than on the biceps. Anything north of that, you're going to extend your own arms and put yourself in danger. And we can go over that tomorrow, but I'd really like to drill that in. Wait for 1 second. I don't even know how I inverted. Okay.
Straight into cross Ashi. That's an inside.
Yeah, he's doing a good job though. Trying to shut this down. I get him crossed up here. I don't remember if I finished this or not. Okay, yeah. Right at the bell. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he'll have to worry too hard about leg entanglements at his competition. So it's not like I want Rush to focus too much on it if he's preparing for a comp. Can't remember how much Cole and I spent going live on this round, or if we deviated into drilling at some point.
It looks like Andrew and Steven are going to get after it, so should be good. Oh, and you got Austin and Joe.
Austin's in a strange position.
I think me and Jason train too, but it's uneventful. Jason does a really good job now of shutting my grips down.
Yeah. Jason's probably feeling pretty good this evening. Got a really nice rear naked strangle earlier. Embarrassing. Training is never embarrassing. Alright, training's sometimes embarrassing. I feel like you're like, I'm not even gonna bother.
Nah.
Let me just get to your legs.
For half these guys that we train with, I feel like if I can sweep them, I can sweep anybody. So if I can work from the bottom and get back on top, I feel like that's a win in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Good Kimura finish from Steven here. Steven putting into practice what we were talking about earlier with the Kimura. He has much more influence over Andrew's head and shoulder line, and that's why he can get this Kimura. So now, rather than when we saw Dan pulling Andrew up off the mat with really no head or shoulder control, he exposed the back, but he didn't have the mechanics on the finish. Now, yes, Andrew's shoulders are coming up off the mat, but he's not rolling Steven over. Steven's not falling back. He's able to put more braking pressure on this from his position. losing the underhook battle there, so you got to start thinking about other options.
On the leg, though. Okay.
Onto the knee bar.
Steven rotates out.
Sorry, how did Cole sweep me here? I just elevated.
Looked like a shoulder crunch almost. I don't know. Or head and arm.
Oh, I think we went over the it was the shoulder crunch to the reverse side, the one you like.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's where we started talking about that. And now I'm breaking a rule I've yelled at a lot of guys for doing. You know, you saw me briefly like hugging my arms over Cole's back there, primarily because I don't want Cole getting his hands on my arms, and when they're tight around the back, he's not going to get them, and I could kind of like reset or make him move his hands elsewhere. You know, it's purposeful when I do it, but it's not something I like to rely on.
I do the same thing. It's one of those things: do as I say, not as I do.
yeah. I'm hiding my hands when I do that. It's because I feel like they're in danger. And then he and I start talking about S-mount here. Good shoulder walking from Andrew, getting Steven back to a lower mount where he's a bit more manageable. A good little dilemma Steven threw at him there. Yep. Isolated one arm, and then as Andrew went to get it safe, he opened up his other arm, and Steven tried to switch to that one. But now he ends up in a modified mount to take it back. Damn, nice Steven. I feel like that was another example of anything below the eyes is the neck at play. I don't think Steven got totally under the chin on that. It looks like more of a mandible strangle. You can kind of see Andrew's nose poking out over the elbow. But whatever. It's an effective strangle. Yeah, Jason really he didn't let you play.
Shut down every bit of my grip game. I couldn't get it. I mean, if you were watching it all, like I couldn't get a 2-on-1 on him. Every time I would grab 2-on-1, he was able to shake and get back 1-on-1, and it was good.
That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks again for joining us tonight, guys. We really appreciate it as always. Follow us here if you're not. Subscribe if you can. You can use your Twitch Prime to help us out. The Proof 12, thank you for the follow earlier. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but thanks for joining us.
Do not see them.
And yeah, you can subscribe over on YouTube as well. We'll pop this video up there for you guys. And I think pretty soon we're gonna switch up our. You guys are very welcome. We're gonna switch up our camera angles. We're testing out some new spots to capture some video from. So we'll have some new point of views, and hopefully we can capture a bit more of the matches too. We won't have as many blind spots, but we're working all that out now. So that should be up maybe by next week. I don't know. We'll see. In the meantime, make sure you're getting back to class and training as hard as you can, especially those who want to compete this Saturday. We've got Concord coming up, the New Breed competition. So anybody who is competing, definitely be there this week. You don't have to go too crazy if you don't want to. We don't want anybody getting injured before comp, but put the work in. Ask all the questions you need to ask, and we will get you guys squared away before that. What else? Anything else we got going on?
Nah, normal schedule. Saturday, covered it.
All right, good stuff. We're moving on to legs for the next 2 weeks, so everybody be ready to bring your A game. With that, learn how to get safe, learn how to break some ankles, all that good stuff. So in any case, go trim your nails and do your laundry, and don't be stinky when you get to class this week, and we'll see you there. Take it easy.
Later.